And so here's where the license plate illuminator goes. It uses these Torx screws and a T20 driver. And this just plugs right into there. You can hear it click. And then the 4 screws. Got the park lights on now. And I can see both bulbs are illuminated. And there's a button here for the trunk. I can hear that working. So I'll go ahead and finish installing it. So this is the assembly I pulled from the BMW X5. It has 2 license plate illuminator bulbs, and in the center here is the buttons for the trunk release. And there's a rubber membrane that goes over this to weatherize it, and that has cracked and broken away, and I'll be replacing that later. But in my case, what happened was this bulb here was not working, and I could tell it was not getting a return ground. This bulb was working fine, so what I did, you can see this red wire. I attached a red wire here on this part of the bulb socket and routed it all the way through. You can see it all the way through here to here. And this was still getting a good ground connection here, or a return anyway. And so that's where I soldered it to there. And so both bulbs are now working. And there are these shields that go and snap into place for the bulbs. And there's the connector. It's a 4-pin 10th inch pin connector, and I'll show you the schematic of that. So there's the color code there. It's gray black, brown, gray yellow, gray brown, and the 4 pins. There's a nodule here that polarizes the connector. And on the 2 center pins, well, actually this brown here is common to everything, and I measured 3.9 volts across it at all times, and that goes to the switch, the hatch release switch. It's just a normally open switch, and when you close it, it brings this 3.9 volts down to ground, or down to 0. And the brown wire also continues on through, and it becomes the return for both the left and right side license plate illuminators. And in my case, the problem was this is a printed circuit board, and in the assembly, and there was a bad connection here, is intermittent. And so, but this bulb was still working, so the ground return was still coming to this bulb. And so what I ended up doing was just soldering a wire here at this bulb, at the socket, and routing it through the entire assembly over to here, soldering onto that part of the socket. So it restored the return ground. And so on the BMW, each bulb gets its own feed, voltage feed, and that's how they can detect if one of the bulbs is not working. And so when the park lights are on, I was measuring about 12 volts from the brown to the right side, and from the brown to the left side. And so basically that's what the red wire is that I installed into here. It just restores that ground.